At 6 a.m., I looked out my window and saw three police cruisers, lights flashing, parked around my horse pond, and right in the middle of them was Karen Martinez, the president of our HOA, waving her arms and screaming into her phone. "He's violating animal regulations. Arrest him now." I just stood there, barefoot on the porch, my coffee cooling in my hand, watching my four retired Border Patrol horses sunbathe by the water, not a clue what crime they'd supposedly committed. Then the first officer leaned in for a closer look, and his face turned ghostly white. "Wait, are these Border Patrol horses?" he stammered, and suddenly Karen stopped barking orders, realizing she'd picked a fight she didn't understand. "Where are you watching from?" Because trust me, this story is about to turn into Karen's worst nightmare and the craziest week of my life. My name's Jake Morrison, and 6 months ago, after 25 years on the Border Patrol and losing my wife Sarah to cancer, I came back to my granddad's old ranch outside Phoenix, hoping for a quiet reset. The place had been in our family since the 60s, 40 acres of mesquite and cactus, a little pond, and a weathered barn, the kind of property where you'd think nothing ever happens except the sun coming up. I adopted four retired patrol horses, Thunder, Lightning, Storm, and Ranger, because I couldn't stand an empty barn, and every morning at dawn, we'd all go down to the pond. Watching them swim was the only thing that felt peaceful anymore, like there was still some good left in the world. But you know how peace goes, somebody's always itching to ruin it. That somebody turned out to be Karen Martinez, our HOA president, platinum hair, designer heels, walking across my property like she owned it. "Mr. Morrison, we need to talk about your animals," she snapped, reading off some legalese from her phone. "According to the new HOA regulations, no livestock or working animals without board approval." I pointed to the old federal training zone sign by my fence, the one nobody ever bothered about. "Ma'am, this pond's actually on federal land, grandfathered in. Always has been." Karen laughed, cold and sharp. "Federal land? Don't insult my intelligence. You have 48 hours to move those horses, or I'll involve the authorities." She stormed off, announcing, "I've documented everything for my attorney." I thought it was just another HOA headache. But that night, my security cameras picked up something way scarier than Karen. Two men messing with my barn at 2:30 a.m., disabling 3 of my 6 cameras, planting what looked like bugs. Professional work. Expensive. And fresh tire tracks out back didn't match any neighbor's ride. Whatever this was, it went way beyond the HOA. That evening, my neighbor Tommy Chun knocked, laptop under his arm, looking pale. He's a software engineer, wife's a nurse, good people. "Jake, you need to see this," he said, showing me footage from his own cameras, same 2 guys, a third in a black sedan out front. Tommy ran the plate, registered to Desert Eye Solutions, a PI firm. Within 20 minutes, Tommy traced the payment for that PI straight to Karen Martinez. So, my neighbor, the HOA president, was running professional surveillance on me. But from the look of those men, she was playing in a league she didn't even know existed. Next morning, I got a certified letter, $5,000 in fines, remove all animals, threat of extended litigation. The letter even mentioned disturbing the peace and operating an unauthorized business. I was still reading it when Margaret Sullivan, a 70-year-old widow who'd lived next door since my granddad's day, showed up with a battered folder. "Jake, it's time you knew the whole truth about your grandfather's arrangement with the government," she said. Settling in like this was going to take a while. Turns out the pond isn't just on federal land, it's been a designated training facility for mounted Border Patrol units since 1967, a strategic asset for Homeland Security. My 4 horses weren't even fully mine, they were federal assets, here on permanent loan under a veteran care program. My retirement ranch was actually a government installation. I was still processing this when Tommy called again, voice tight. "Jake, I did some digging. The PI Rick Johnson isn't just any investigator. He's ex-law enforcement, fired for evidence tampering and excessive force, desperate for money. And he's been uploading info on your routine to encrypted servers." That's when the old Border Patrol instincts hit. This wasn't just neighbor drama. This was a national security problem. I called my old supervisor, Agent Lisa Rodriguez, who now ran the Mounted Patrol Division. "Lisa, we've got a security breach. She didn't miss a beat. Jake, we've been tracking increased trafficking in your area. I'm sending Agent Maria Gonzalez, our trafficking specialist. Maintain your routine, but stay alert. The very next day, Karen Martinez outdid herself, called a press conference at the community center, dragging in local news crews, announcing to the whole city that I was abusing my contractor privileges and flouting HOA authority. She broadcast my address, the horses' routines, even filmed the pond. Karen thought she was a hero, but she was basically handing an intelligence packet to every cartel scout watching the local news. Tommy called, "Jake, encrypted traffic spiking. Someone's coordinating with people overseas. Your property's being targeted." That night, strange cars started showing up, always in the right spots to watch entrances. This was organized. The HOA feud had become a federal threat. Agent Gonzalez arrived just in time with bad news. "Jake, trafficking networks are using real-time info about Border Patrol ops to plan their moves. Your facility was mentioned in intercepted comms." She spread out surveillance photos, SUVs, faces, names: Carlos Mendoza, cartel logistics; Miguel Santos, on the run for 2 years; and Rick Johnson, Karen's PI, now a pipeline for classified info to criminal networks. Turns out, my grandfather's contract made this property a key node in a federal surveillance network, and Karen had just blown its cover. As if that wasn't enough, Karen scheduled another press event, right as Agent Gonzalez's team was preparing to intercept the traffickers. The news crews rolled in, led by Karen and the HOA board, with a county animal control officer, Dr. Sadakimo. Karen pulled out her iPad, swiping through doctored photos of my horses, accusing me of animal abuse. Dr. Kim, cool and meticulous, examined the evidence, quickly finding the timestamps didn't match. Shadows were off. "These photos are manipulated, Mrs. Martinez," she announced, then turned to the news crew. "Filing false claims is a misdemeanor. Manipulating evidence is fraud." Karen's case collapsed, right there on live TV. Suddenly, a teenage girl stumbled out of the desert, blood on her shirt, eyes wild with terror, collapsing at my fence. "Maria Santos, please help me. They're coming," she gasped in Spanish. I knelt beside her, told her she was safe, and that's when Karen made her most dangerous move yet. She started a Facebook live stream, screaming that I was harboring an illegal immigrant, broadcasting Maria's location to the world. Officer Williams, a young cop who'd shown up to keep the peace, quickly stepped in, ordering Karen to stop filming, but it was too late. The traffickers were already closing in, guided by our live stream. Within minutes, 3 SUVs roared up. 2 were Border Patrol tactical teams, but the third belonged to the traffickers, desperate to recover their high-value target. A firefight was avoided by seconds, federal agents extracting Maria to safety, arresting Rick Johnson and his accomplices as they tried to flee. In the chaos, Karen was detained as a material witness, her investigation now evidence in a federal trafficking case. Turns out, she'd been manipulated by Rick, her need for control weaponized by criminals. Afterward, everything changed. The ranch became the Southwest Border Community Education Center, where agents and community leaders learn how to spot trafficking signs and work together. The horses serve as ambassadors, teaching kids that border security is about protecting people, not politics. Karen, after cooperating and counseling, now directs a program for parents, helping them spot when their kids are being targeted by predators. Maria went home, became an advocate, and her father, the judge, worked with U.S. authorities to dismantle the network that took her. Looking back, I still can't believe how it all unfolded, how a war over horses in a pond exposed an international trafficking ring, saved a judge's daughter, and turned a community upside down. And to think it all started because one person couldn't mind her own business. My horses still swim every morning. Only now they do it with police, neighbors, and volunteers who understand that the fight for justice is won by ordinary people doing the right thing. If this story hit home for you, if you believe in standing up for what's right, hit like, subscribe, and tell me below, where do you draw the line between community safety and personal freedom? Because sometimes the smallest actions ripple out into the world, and you never know which fight will change everything.